everybody, and welcome to day number 218. This is the day that I'm rolling out of Ukraine. I'm actually here at the border, trying to get out of Ukraine into Poland. So far, so good, but here's what I can tell you as we're doing that. Unbelievable amount of people at the border getting out of here. Talking to Jania about it, he's up actually processing some of our paperwork right now. And fortunately, I'm talking miles long of vehicles getting out. I'll show you a quick clip of that right now. I can't raise the phone, of course. We're crossing out of Ukraine, heading back into Poland to get to Warsaw tonight. Fly home tomorrow, but I just showed everybody the long video line real quick. I was a quick line there of, what's this cat want? All right, a quick line there of us passing all the vehicles. How much time did we save because of our documents?
6 hours, I think.
6 hours.
Not less.
So we've already passed the first checkpoint in about 90 seconds, and now we have to clear Ukraine, get into Poland, clear Poland, get out, but we're here. Everything's going smoothly. So that's what happens when you come and go, and I can tell you it's extremely active at the border. That's 100%, and there's no way I can raise this phone because I will be on the ground with my nose on the ground.
People checking here,
So,
they know
very
who
serious.
is real, what organization is real, who does real stuff.
Is our organization real?
Come on.
It was just hours ago we were over on the crazy land, and now we're on the western side. So, but it's time for a break. It's time to recharge.
It's time to find the spare parts for guys.
Yeah, we're gonna do everything, but we're going to. It's time. It was really hard, 4 or 5 weeks there, so it's time to recuperate our team and be ready for the next run. So you guys be ready. We're gonna load up more supplies and continue to do our part to win this war. Fortunately for us, we have special documentation with the NGOs to come and cross the border on the fast lane, and I keep looking that way because I'm watching very specifically what's going on. We're right here at the border, literally. But with that said, it's unbelievable how many people do not appear to be leaving. I'm here, I'm at the border, and they're leaving. And this is just one border crossing. It is an amazing amount of people. I have to think that's due to the referendums. I knew yesterday there was a lot more people in Khmelnytsky. The referendums looking like the shams are going to happen. Today, President Zelensky spoke about those. I'm going to show you that video in just a few moments, translated into English for you. And this is definitely having an effect on Ukraine. Lots of people are rolling right now. Why? Well, why is simple. Because tomorrow, Vladimir Putin will be making a speech. I will be traveling. So make sure you pay attention to your news tomorrow, a good reputable source, and see what Putin says. I'm expecting him to announce that the annexation is complete. I do know that right now, right this minute, and we are 5:48 p.m. Ukraine time, Moscow time, they are meeting at the Kremlin, working on different plans. It's all public information on this side of the world, working on the speech, working on the documentation for the completion of the annexation tomorrow, having everything signed officially in their sham world, that is. So I know that's having an effect. Why would that have such an effect on the borders? Because even though some of the regions that they are annexing are not fully occupied, the people in the unoccupied areas absolutely will be fleeing that, because after the annexation, there's no telling what's going to happen. We've heard the threats. We've heard the threats of nuclear. We've heard the threats of we're going to increase the strike. We've heard the threats of we're going to declare war, whatever. Who knows? We'll find out tomorrow. We'll find out Saturday. We'll find out Sunday. But the bottom line is this sham mess is happening. Vladimir Zelensky responded to it, but inside Ukraine, I'm watching a lot of people roll. Point blank, I'm watching it. The traffic today, it's just quite chaotic at the border. And as I remind you, this is just one border. So thankful we have all of our documentation so we can roll through quickly. But it's just an amazing amount of people leaving this country. So let's take a look at what Zelensky said in regard to the referendums.
Good health to you, fellow Ukrainians. Our key task now is to coordinate actions with partners in response to sham referenda organized by Russia and all related threats. This is not 2014. Everything is clear for everyone, and there will certainly be actions. I held a whole series of negotiations on September the 28th. President of Turkey Erdogan, Chancellor of Germany Scholz, Prime Minister of Canada Trudeau, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom Truss, Secretary General of the UN Guterres, President of the European Council, Charles Michel. Thank you all for your clear and unequivocal support. Thank you all for understanding our position. Ukraine cannot and will not put up with any attempts by Russia to seize any part of our land. I once again thanked President Erdogan on September the 28th for his help in freeing our people from Russian captivity. Commanders from Azovstal who are in Turkey will soon be able to see their relatives. We are working on it. Also, by the way, the implementation of the plan to help each of those recently released from captivity has already begun. They receive priority elements of assistance. First of all, it is medical support. They all need recovery after what they had to go through in captivity. This work is under the control of the Ombudsman. Representatives of the Office, Intelligence, the Ministry of Internal Affairs, the Security Service of Ukraine, the Ministry of Health, and the Command of the Medical Forces. And we will extend the appropriate measures, which are being worked out in detail now, to all our people whom we free from the captivity of the occupiers. I will emphasize once again, we remember all our people and try to free each and every one of them from captivity. Not a single Ukrainian has been forgotten. We discussed with President Erdogan our further defense cooperation, our response to all the aggressive steps that Russia has already taken and is still preparing to take. We discussed a wide range of issues with the Chancellor of Germany: political, financial, defense and energy. In the defense topic, I emphasized that we are waiting for an anti-missile defense system from Germany. I am grateful for the willingness to help with air defense. Other points of defense cooperation were also discussed in detail. There are quite a lot of them. They are clear. Of course, energy issues were touched upon, including the supply of gas to Europe and sabotage at the Nord Stream gas pipeline. We discussed with Mr. Chancellor the preparation of the new sanctions package of the European Union. Together we must make it really powerful, not symbolic. As of September the 28th, there is still something to add to the 8th sanctions package. The conversation with the Prime Minister of Canada was, as always, very specific and concerned primarily how Canada can increase support for Ukraine. Among other things, the mining was discussed. Canada has both the appropriate technology and the appropriate humanitarian ambitions. I invited Prime Minister Trudeau to lead a global effort to clear our land of Russian mines and projectiles. Due to the Russian war, Ukrainian land is one of the most contaminated by mines in the world. And while there are similar examples of large-scale mine contamination around the world, we must do what others have not done. We must set a precedent for rapid and large-scale demining, not leave this problem for decades. I thank Canada for its willingness to help us. With Mrs. Liz Truss, we discussed the possibilities of Britain in enhancing sanctions on Russia, as well as increasing defense aid for our country. I am grateful for the principled contamination of the Russian farce under the guise of a referendum, for the full support and willingness to move with us towards the return of freedom to all our people in all parts of Ukraine without any exceptions. The conversation with the Secretary General of the UN also concerned sham referenda and Russia's apparent preparation of the ground for an attempt to annex our territory. These brutal violations of the UN Charter must be punished. We discussed the implementation of our grain export initiative with Mr. Guterres. We agreed that the initiative should not only be preserved, not only protected from any attempts to disrupt it, but also expanded. Ukraine is ready to significantly increase the export of our agricultural products to the countries that need them and the corresponding interaction with the UN for humanitarian purposes and assistance to such countries as Somalia, Ethiopia, etc. I have just finished a call with Charles Michel. As always, it was a conversation between real friends. Thank you for your full support in the issue of sham referenda and for your willingness to extend aid to Ukraine. Of course, we also discussed the preparation of new sanctions. Tomorrow I will continue intensive communication with the leaders. This I want to once again thank the United States of America and personally President Biden for the new package of defense support for our country in the amount of more than $1 billion. This is really important. If someone in Russia thinks they can get away with everything they are doing in the occupied territory, if someone in Russia hopes the world will abandon its own values, frightened by another Russian announcement of annexation, they in Russia are wrong. Each subsequent escalating step by the occupier only confirms the fact that the world must act even tougher. As for the situation at the front, everything is clear to us. Therefore, I repeat again, for those who understand only Russian. If you want to live, run. If you want to live, surrender. If you want to live, fight on your streets for your freedom. Everything was taken from you anyway. Or maybe any of you have oil rigs, palaces, vineyards, maybe yachts or some bank. What are you fighting for? The only thing that you have is loans, something to eat in the evening, and now there's mobilization. Fight for what's yours. Stay away from our land, our soul, and our culture. Glory to Ukraine.
Very powerful statements there by President Zelensky. And if you're paying attention to the video, which I know you are because you always do and much appreciated, we're still in Ukraine. I'm looking at the Ukrainian flag, although I can see the Polish border. And we were on the express NGO lane, humanitarian aid, volunteers. We've gotten through so fast, and you can leave it off. So fast, okay. And 3 hours and 1 minute. 3 hours and 1 minute, and we're still at the border. Glad we're in the fast one. So some of these people sit here 7 days.
Yeah,
Huh?
Yeah, the truck drivers.
Truck drivers up to 7 days.
Yeah, correct.
I do have a hotel in Warsaw. Don't think I'm gonna need it. I think he'll be taking me straight to the airport, the way this is going. But praise God, we were in the fast lane. Back to Zelensky. Very, very powerful statements there. And you know, I'm going to be traveling, going to do our best to update the best we can, especially if something crazy happens. But these referendums, they're going to be a game changer. And I would call it this: they're raising the stakes. So tomorrow, September the 30th, going to be a major day. Jacob, what do you think about the referendums?
Okay, it's not referendums. Yes, they.
Okay, what do you think about the shams?
Yes.
Is that better?
Yeah, much better.
Okay, thank you.
So, concerning what's going on right now on the occupied Ukrainian territory, the things and activity that the Russian calls like referendum, which is attempt of annexation, and they faking creating a picture for at least someone to believe, and in reality they are spitting on international law, and they demonstrate it to the whole world, and showing that they quite realize that how many are fearful leaders of the nations and nations itself.
What about the 1932 encyclopedia, Soviet encyclopedia?
So in 1932, it's Soviet military encyclopedia were describing this process with details that during annexation, to fake and make it something which could look like
the people's will.
The people's will.
Mm-hmm.
They faking referendum, faking that people they showing their will, they voting, they coming, and then everything like looks like good. But it can be, it is possible only when the real nations and real authorities are quiet. This is the only possible.
Well, let me ask you this question. You and I had enough pressure on us when we were delivering aid very close to the gray zones, knowing we were close to Russian military positions. To be honest, in some places we were on Ukrainian territory, but definitely between. Your brakes are working. I don't need you to pump them. And we know what that pressure was like. So now think about occupied territories. The other thing in the Soviet encyclopedia was that these are done under military occupation.
Yes.
So think about someone having to go vote, seeing soldiers there with AK-47s. That's called pressure.
Yes, I think the person who cares about his life, he can vote for anything.
That's exactly right.
And for
that's
changing
the problem.
the sex, whatever.
Exactly.
Because when you you watching at the guns which are watching you back.
It puts a little heat on you, don't it?
Yeah, I mean, and sweat.
So let me ask you this question, and hopefully we're going to get through this border. We're still here. President Putin's speech tomorrow. We already heard from President Zelensky. This could be a game changer in this war, with the official taking of the territory by their viewpoint.
Yes, I think this is a, let's say, a new challenge for international society.
Yes.
I mean, all the nations, not just leaders, the nations, will they stay quiet?
Correct, because literally we potentially tomorrow will see land in their viewpoint, okay, stolen.
Great and powerful nations taking responsibility.
Correct.
In their ability, and if their leaders need to lead and to do it properly, the nation will make it. This is about great nations. This is what we had in the World War II.
Yep, and we're very close, bud, to World War III.
I really want to see these leaders and the people and families and nations who will take responsibility
and respond to this tragedy.
Yes.
All right, there you have it, folks. Still at the border. Can't show you, but I'll give you a quick flip as I turn the phone off. Four hours, 18 minutes. We're still at the border.
I'm happy.
Yeah, had to use the restroom, and you have to pay to go in.
Yeah, only coins.
And did you have enough money?
No, I got...
What, were you over there begging?
Yeah, I had 2 coins like that and needed one more, so I was asking, hey guys, boys.
Hey guys, please send help.
I will not make it.
Enough money to go to the bathroom.
If you will not help me, I will not make it. And he said, okay, come, I will give you 1 coin.
My man was begging over there. 5 hours and 7 minutes, and we are finally into Polish territory. You can see a blue light flashing off my face. That's because there's some cop in front of us that won't let us go more than 20 kilometers per hour. We just passed miles of tractor trailers that are lined up to get into Ukraine, bringing supplies for the war and for the infrastructure. I was fortunate enough to hit the time lapse on the camera just to show it to you, folks. No edit, no goofiness. That is a time lapse, or what you're going to see is a straight time lapse of the moment we left the border, and you can see how many trucks are lined up to get into Ukraine. It is bonkers. hotel. I think we're going to have just a few minutes there. I'll jump in the shower and head straight into the airport in Warsaw and head to Paris, Boston, back into Pittsburgh. Foggy, nasty, but all is well. Keep your eye on the referendum announcements tomorrow, and we'll try to give you an update during the day. Be blessed. Peace to you. Peace to you.